called urban circus plays, African-American productions with pure ethnic flavor. They've been appealing to black audiences for years. Remember Beauty Shop?
Yeah, baby, I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. You go out the door here, drive 3 blocks north, turn right at the signal light, and it's right across the street from Taco Bell. You can't miss it. What is? The magic stop! The boy, not the speaking over you here.
This popular play tours 50 cities over 3 years and grossed $25 million. Shelley Garrett, the mastermind behind this play, also created a beauty shop too, and he hopes to work money magic again with a revival of the original. These plays initially weren't taken seriously by the black theater community. Only little-known actors performed. Now you have high-profile singers and actors joining in on the bandwagon. These types of productions have become so popular, at least 12 shows tour every month. Look out for Salt of Salt and Pepper and Play of Kid and Play, who are headlining a new production. It's called Rap City, a hip-hop gospel play, and it's one of the first of its kind. Have urban circuit plays replaced pure thespian productions like A Raisin in the Sun? Is it all about economics? More on BET Tonight. For BET Tonight, I'm Annette Gibbs.
Good evening. Welcome to BET Tonight. I'm TAVIS SMILEY. As always, glad that you're with us. We will get to your phone calls in just a moment. Pleased tonight to be joined in our Washington studio by the stars of Rap City, the upcoming hip-hop gospel play, Cheryl James, or shall I just say, Salt. Glad to see her. Christopher Martin, Play, writer, director, and producer of Beauty Shop. Shelley Garrett, also glad to have him with us, and we will get to your phone calls, as I said, for all my guests as we talk about the black theater, the black stage, and why these black plays are so popular across the country. Just a second. First of all, Play, it's nice to see you.
Pleasure's all mine.
So what have you been doing since we last saw you?
Short version is really unlearning and relearning. I've been out in Birmingham, Alabama for a while, attending and as well as recruiting and working with the communications department at Miles College out in Birmingham, Alabama, which has been a very pleasurable and very much needed experience in my life. So that's pretty much it.
That's a big change, though, from New York and L.A. and the movie scene. Why Miles College? I mean, that seems like a radical departure from the biz, so to speak.
Well, I embraced the testimony and the story of Abraham. That's basically where God sent me, and it ended up being a very wise thing for me to be able to do because it gave me the chance to reassociate myself and to be able to relate to real people and real things and to be able to understand problems, afflictions, concerns, so that when it came time for Cheryl and I to be involved with this kind of project called Rap City, we would know what we're talking about and be able to strike, pierce the heart or be able to connect with somebody, when they hear the dialogue, that it's not something fabricated, it's something that really I've experienced in the last few years.
Let's talk about Rap City, the play. Cheryl, nice to see you. Salt, I shouldn't say that. I should say Salt or Cheryl.
Cheryl,
Cheryl, fine. Okay, nice to see you. How did the two of you come to collaborate on this project, number one? And number two, give me some sense of what Rap is about.
Well, Chris called me out of nowhere. I hadn't heard from him in a while. Every once in a while, he calls me to say hello. And this one particular time, he was really excited about this project, this idea he had for a play. And it was ironic because I always liked theater. Growing up, my mother took me to see The Wiz, Your Arms Too Short, The Box with God. I've seen all the Broadway theater productions, and I've always wanted to be, before I wanted to be a rapper, I wanted to be in a play. That was always my dream. And then I started thinking it would be nice if I could get some community kids together and put some sort of play together. And I have been thinking this for years, but I never thought of it as something that I would actually act on. But Play called me one day, and he started telling me, and he was very excited about Rap City and the idea for Rap City. And he basically said God just kept directing him to me. So he called me, and I was like, yeah, definitely. I was busy. I didn't know how I was going to do it. We had just broken up with management, so we were basically managing ourselves. Our career was at a point where it was very chaotic, and it really wasn't something that I knew how I was going to be able to help him with, but I just wanted to do it. And so we got together, and we started working on it, and we rehearsed a couple of weeks, and Rap City to me, the way I see it, you can look at it from a lot of different angles, but there's a struggle in the church with young people and church music and secular music. And I think with Kirk Franklin coming out and doing, his radical type of gospel music, that he's opened up a door for young people to feel maybe more free to be able to express themselves musically without it being secular music. So his Rhapsody is about a young guy who's dealing with that struggle, and he basically gets caught up in his song turns out to be. Let me let you tell it.
I want you to hold that thought for 1 second. I got to go to Cheryl Martin to get some news. Okay. When we come back, I want to hear the news. Exactly. I want to hear more about Rhapsody, though, when we come back. I especially am glad that Shirley Garrett is here because I want to expand this conversation to talk about the whole nature, the explosion around these black plays. As you all know, a lot of folks don't see this as legitimate theater in the first place. I want to talk about that and some of the other issues. We'll get to that in just a second. Play is here. Salt is here. Shirley Garrett is here. You are here. We'll get to your phone calls in a moment. But Cheryl Martin is also here. We don't want her to wait too long to impart the news to us. We turn now to Cheryl Martin and say good evening and ask what's in the news tonight, Cheryl. No doubt. Shirley, nice to see you. Glad you're with us. There are 1,000 things I want to ask you. There are two things that come to mind immediately, though. As I listen to Play Talk number one, it occurs to me, it seems to me at least, and I could be wrong about this, but it seems to me that one of the main differences between black theater, if you can call it that, and white theater, if you can call it that, is that these black plays always seem to have a message. Now, albeit some will argue that it's the same message and they're the same kinds of characters, there's always the same kind of storyline. I want to get your thought on that in a second. But there seems to me, number one, there'll always be a message in black plays. Tell me if I'm right about that, number one, and why that is. And secondly, can you just tell me why these plays are so hugely popular?
Well, as far as the message, I think that the black plays is very important to have a message. And you have two types of plays. You have the gospel plays and you have the secular plays, But they all will have a message. And that's very important to our audiences to spend this type of money or any type of money. Because when you go to a play, I look at it like this. This is how I tell and train my actors. First of all, the people have to buy the tickets, the parking. The lady might have wanted to get an outfit to come in if it's an event type.
If she's black, you know she did.
Oh, you know.
There's no mic to it.
She did. Even if it's casket. You know what I mean? They might have gone out to dine before the play and just done the whole thing. You know what I mean? So when they get in that theater, by the time they get in that theater, they're going to cross their arms and say, now, okay, entertain me. And it's your responsibility to do that.
But entertaining somebody and empowering somebody seems to be two different things, and that's the distinction I was trying to draw. It seems to me that, Cheryl mentioned earlier, the Wiz and all the Broadway, Pearly, et cetera, all the Broadway plays, I think, do focus primarily on entertaining people. But am I wrong about this suggestion, at least, or my thought, that black plays tend to empower people as well as or as much as they attempt to entertain?
Well, I think that we have so much feeling within, that when a black person leaves that theater, it's very important to them to feel good in their heart, feel good in their stomach, to feel good in their spirit, when they leave that theater. And that's what I think every director or producer strives for in these plays, or should strive for, I should say. It's important to me. My thing is laughter. I'm into the comedy thing, okay? So when someone leaves that theater, it's important that they're walking out of that theater into the lobbies with a big smile on their face, because laughter is good for the heart. It's good for everyone needs and wants to laugh.
How do we respond to play? Feel free to jump in anytime. How do we respond to the criticism? How do you respond to the criticism? Not of your play specifically, because we haven't seen Rhapsody yet. People around the country will get a chance to see it in March. You guys go on the road?
Yes, we go out in March.
Go out in March. Mid-March. How do we respond to the criticism that this is not the beauty shops, the Rhapsodies, there's a long litany of them, as you well know, I don't want to call names. But how do we respond to the argument that these plays do not represent legitimate theater? I asked that question. Skip Gates, noted professor at Harvard, wrote an article a few months ago in the New Yorker magazine, as I recall, and he would call this whole circuit the Chitlin circuit. He called it the Chitlin circuit. Tell me why we should view this as legitimate theater.
Well, just to reiterate something, just to rewind the tape a little bit, I think just to give it more of clarity in regards to why they're so popular and why they do so well is I know for me that I love when I find out I'm not going through what I'm going through alone. Someone else is going through it, and especially a person who has come out of it. I think that's why the Bible, one of God's instruments in the Bible, there's plenty of stories. There's nothing new under the sun. So you'll find yourself somewhere in there and see how somebody came out of the muck and the mire and was able to make it. And I believe that's what a lot of these plays do. They deal with the black experience. And I really don't want to just isolate it with that particular title, but it deals with the experience. So when somebody goes there, like I just finished doing Michael Matthews' Fake Friends, and I've seen Shelley's plays or whatever, we can relate to things. We can relate to it. So it's one of the things Satan tries to trick you into believing is you're the only one that's going through it alone, and it's unheard of, and that there's no chance for you to survive. So if you see this, if it isn't the character himself going through it, whoever you choose to embrace and relate to, you know that whoever wrote this must know something about this, and that there is hope and there is encouragement, and that vehicle can be through laughter, through drama, through comedy, drama, whatever the case may be. And in regards to what you're talking about, my beef, might be too strong a word to put on it, is the fact that I think right now what Cheryl and I and prayerfully Shelley and Michael Matthews and so many of us will be contributing to is a higher heights in regards to the production. But still yet, I mean, I don't think it's always good for a piece to stay on Broadway. There's nothing wrong with it, but there's a lot of people who need to be exposed to this ministry that can't get to Broadway.
And can't afford the Broadway price.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, a lot of people had problems with Christ with that. He wasn't doing it where the other big holy rollers was. He went into the homes. He went into the trenches, as my friend David C. likes to put it. And that's what we do. So it's like, and then with that, you don't always have the luxury of the kind of theaters you go into. And we are, have the capability and the luxury to be able to alter our situations, our scenery, or whatever. So I think that has a lot to do with it and has a bad tag to it. But nevertheless, it's going to do what it's supposed to do anyway.
I got to break one more time. We'll come back and get your phone calls and we talk about the burgeoning growth of these black plays and what you think about it and why these plays are so popular. Saw and Play about to go out on the road in March with a new play called Rap City. Also joined tonight by Shelley Garrett. Your phone calls in just a moment. Stay where you are.
When I think about the goodness and the fullness of God, make me thankful, pity, the hateful, I'm grateful. The Lord brought me through this far. I'm trying to be true when I praise Him, great and high. I keep an eye, be confident, jumping, make the Lord feel something. Ain't no shame in my game, God's promise. Game, God's promise.
Hello, it's Terry Fuller.
Welcome back to BET Tonight. There you see a scene from Beauty Shop, one of, if not the most successful black plays on the circuit. Shelley Garrett did Beauty Shop 1. Beauty Shop 2. We're pleased to be joined by Shelley Garrett tonight, Salt of Salt and Pepper, and, as I was teasing him during the break, the Bishop, Christopher P. Martin. Got that ring to it, doesn't it? The P stands for play. I'm glad to have you with us. Your phone calls now. Monica in Virginia. Thanks for holding you on the air, and I'm glad you called.
Hi, I'd like to ask Mr. Garrett, do you feel the characters in your plays are a positive depiction of African Americans, and how would you react if the same plays were produced by a Caucasian? Would you be offended?
That's the question. Monica, you are astute. You must have read that article. That was the very issue, as you well know, that Skip Bates raised in this article, the Chitlin circuit. How would you feel?
First of all, I think that the characters mostly are real life characters that we see in the community, but it's over the top, of course, for entertainment value. If it were produced by a Caucasian producer, I don't think I would feel anything negative so much. But since I am from the hood, so to speak, I think I can produce this show and know what's going on with our people more than a Caucasian producer.
But you don't think? I think the point that Monta's raising is that you don't believe that Jesse Jackson or Kwesi Nkrumah or Maxine Wallace or whomever would be, or Al Sharpton would be leading a rally or march down the street somewhere if there were a play with some of the characters in some of these black plays feature that are exploitative, that are over the top, that are demeaning, that are derogatory. You don't think that if someone white were producing a play with some of these characters in it, there wouldn't be a lot of black folk raising hell about that?
Well, I don't know. I know a couple of those people you named have been to beauty shops, and I see them laughing, just bent over laughing just like everyone else. So I can't say what they would have done if someone else was producing it. But maybe so, because it might be felt that a Caucasian producer cannot speak for us. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know what I'm saying? How can a Caucasian producer say what is going on in the black community unless he actually lives?
What are the demographics of the audience at beauty shop and the places you've been involved with? What's your basic demographic target?
The age range is 25 to 54.
Mostly women, I would say.
Mostly people.
Clay and Sean, I get the sense that your demographic, the demographic you're going after, your primary demographic, is a little bit different than 25 to 54 women if you're talking about putting hip-hop gospel or a play around that in part on the stage.
Well, yeah, it would be, and one of the reasons why I would say that is I was inspired with being with Michael Matthews, who is the executive producer on Rap City, by the way, in regards to I wasn't supposed to peek out to the audience to see how the crowd was before the performances, before Fake Friends, and I noticed the audiences were getting younger. I started seeing the guys with the hat turned backwards and the baggy pants, and the young ladies with, a certain age that I didn't expect to see. And a lot of times when we go into a town earlier to promote or just for rehearsals or whatever, I'd go to my peers and tell them why I was in town, and they didn't know that the play was there because of the kind of way that the commercial was targeted.
Advertising.
Yeah, it was advertised, and they said if they knew that they would have come. So if I give them free tickets or invite them, I look out in the audience and they did come. So I think we're kind of underestimating that age that we're talking about, that we're targeting, because they're looking for something new.
So you certainly were involved, and we saw the clip earlier, and we've seen 1,001 times of you and that cut with God's Property and Kirk Franklin. You certainly have been able to reach, we have been able to reach young people through hip-hop gospel in terms of the music. I wonder whether or not you think that putting out a play, and if these things are to spin off into additional plays, you think you can hook or win young people in through the stage just as successfully as others have done through the music?
Yeah, I think it depends on how we do it and whether or not it's entertaining to them. Definitely have to entertain them. But we would like to target young people, but we would also like for older people to come and see the play, because Clay said earlier, to bridge the gap, because I think the older people and the young people in the church are separated. They don't understand each other, and this is a type of play where I think they will make them understand, the older people, what the young people are going through, their struggle between the world and the church.
Same thing, vice versa.
Yeah.
Kelly in Ohio, thanks for holding you on the air, and I'm glad you called.
Thank you. I want to say what's up to Clay, Salt, and Shelly. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I've seen also Fake Friends, and I myself am a Caucasian woman in an interracial relationship, and I want to know how you feel about interracial relationship issues being dealt with in these plays.
Any interracial relationships in your play?
Well, no, but to answer the question directly from my own personal belief, I promote love. I promote love. I mean, I just promote love. So, God bless you real good.
So you've done that in any of your plays?
No, actually I haven't.
Yeah.
Actually I haven't. It's all been black on black love, and
is there a reason for that? I'm just curious.
No reason at all. I deal with what I know about.
Right.
That's an idea for a play.
Yeah, I'm about to say that's a very interesting. Play taking notes. They can send you a royalty check, Kelly. They can send you that royalty check.
No, I definitely would. All jokes aside, it's definitely. I mean, this is what I'm very comfortable with right now. Someone was asking me in regards to how I feel about rapping and acting, and I pretty much hung up my hat to that, and dragging Cheryl along. I think this is our expertise right now. I think we have a great anointing in that. So I really want to really cover the whole gamut, the whole experience, life experience from every walk of life.
Teresa in Washington, thanks for calling. I'm glad you're on the air.
Good evening,
Good evening,
everyone. I would like to know what y'all comments are on the stereotypes that are portrayed in the plays, and if you think that they are positive images for today's youth.
We dealt with that a little bit earlier, but let me go back to this whole issue, because we didn't deal necessarily with the stereotype part of it. Are there certain stereotypes that are put across? Let me just say. These plays oftentimes, let's be honest about it, there's always an oversized sister in the play. There's somebody who's gay in the play. There's somebody who's on crack. There's an addict somewhere in the play. And I get the sense of what Teresa's talking about. Do we think that we are, we talked earlier about being over the top to get laughs. But what about the stereotypes of black culture that are promulgated and perpetrated by these plays?
Well, let me say this about my play. Now, I do have a full-figured lady in the play, and I do have a gay character in the play. I've never done anything with drugs or crack or anything. Like I said, I deal with things that I've researched. You know what I'm saying? Now, as far as the full-figured lady, I've even received an award for the BBB, Big Black and Beautiful magazine, for portraying full-figured women in a positive manner. Now, this is a lady who takes a lot of hard jokes all through the play, but in the end, she wins. She's the only one who ends up with this fabulous wedding and so on. And this is the one we have on the road now. Right. As far as the gay character, I have a gay character in the play, and it doesn't mean that. And I got this a while back when we first started. What is the word now? Cosmetologist now, hairstylist, this is changing like every 6 months. Does this mean that because you're a male working in a beauty shop that you have to be gay? No, it does not mean you have to be gay. But in this particular shop, which is fictitious, the Pamper Me Beauty Shop, which happens to be in L.A., it's not a real shop, it's just a play. This character happens to be gay, and he is not a demeaning character. He's just a character who says everything the audience would like to say, but doesn't. You know what I mean? And that's why that character is so popular and so funny. The character is hysterical.
I'm obliged to break one more time. When we come back, I want to ask thought-seeking characters what kind of characters we can expect in Rap City. We'll do that in more of your phone calls. You're watching BET Tonight on Black Entertainment Television, and we are back in 2 minutes. It seems to me that more money, and maybe it obviously costs money to do these kinds of things, but it seems to me in terms of production value, if the production value, and I'm not talking about you in particular, but the production value of these black plays across the board could be raised, I think that would even help in terms of outreach to a more broad demographic of African American playgoers.
That's true. I know when we did Beauty Shop 1, the production was, we were fighting for production, you know what I mean? And then when the show after show made money, then I came out with the living room, and then by the time I got to Beauty Shop 2, we just, the production was just fabulous. It was probably $200,000 just in special effects and costumes. We had the lasers and we still do. We keep that with the all sequence gowns. In fact, we're in Baltimore. We open in Baltimore tonight at the Lyric Opera House. We're there all week. And you can see all the glitter and the glamour, And then we'll just take that on the following weekend to Detroit at the Fisher Theater. So, I love to see sparkle and glamour and glitter. I love to see black people in a glamorous, because we've been portrayed in such a downed manner for so long that it's very important to me to put beautiful people on stage, beautiful in the heart and beautiful physically, you know what I mean, and dress them that way. And then you can just see the audience going, oh, God, it's the most beautiful thing. She's beautiful, he's beautiful, you know what I mean? Instead of just throwing them in jeans and khakis and so on and so on and so on.
We go down to North Carolina and talk to Stacey. Stacey, thanks for holding you on the air, and I'm glad you called.
Thank you. Mr. Garrett, thank you for allowing me to ask you this question. About the gay characters in your plays, do you think that the gay characters are upholding the Bible in a sense that the Bible does condone homosexuality? And what message are you sending to our youth about the gay characters and being gay in these types of plays?
Ooh, Stacey went deep on us. Usually, Garrett.
I was hoping to existence during the break. I said, that's a hard question.
There you go.
Well, I don't think it's a hard question at all. I think that the gay character in this, well, first of all, we have to remember, this is a play. We are pretending, okay? And as a matter of fact, the gay character in my play is not gay, okay? But neither here nor there. It's a gay character, and I think, everyone has a right to choose their entire love, And now, by no means, there's no sugar in my blood. Let's get that real clear, But if you're portraying a gay character, I think it takes a very special actor to portray that. A very brave actor also.
Let me flip that question if I can. Since you spoke this into existence during the commercial break, if in fact there are gay persons in the African American community, and whether you like it or not, and whether you think it's right or not, whether you condone it or not, there are gay African Americans. If they exist in the black community, what is wrong with having a gay character in a play?
I don't think there's anything wrong with portraying that, just as long as there's an answer in regards to that particular situation in a person's life. We don't have that in our particular production. But, I'm very serious about my God. I'm very serious about my Lord and Savior. And, I do have to, with no dilution whatsoever, have to give the answer and the peace of mind stuff that goes along with what needs to be dealt with on that particular subject. But I do think it needs to be portrayed because, like I said earlier, in regards to relating to certain situations that people might be struggling with in their life, or a question about their lifestyle, a hindrance or something that's just not very working out well, there needs to be an answer, and the answer is Jesus Christ.
May I just say that? When we talk about a gay character, it depends on how this character is portrayed. Now, is he portrayed as a gay character, or is he portrayed as a sissy? You know what I mean? Or which excuse this lingo, but is he portrayed as a faggot? Okay, so it depends on how a character is portrayed. Now, in my show, he's portrayed as a gay character, which comes with a lot of respect, because there are a lot of people in this country with high titles that are very respectful, even in the White House. They tell me, you know what I mean. So, and believe me, I have a close relationship with the Lord. Very close relationship. Even though I'm not doing a gospel play, I understand my relationship with the Lord, and please don't think that I don't. That's why I feel that I am a very blessed child.
So I got to hit D in Missouri right quick. D in Missouri.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Yes, I just want to speak. There's a lot of controversy, it seems, stirring up about these type of inspirational plays or gospel plays, or however you want to title it. But I really think that should be pushed aside in a sense. I come from a Pentecostal upbringing. I was brought up Church of God in Christ, and I still am. And the way that I see it is the play is simply entertainment. If people want to get a source of strength and inspiration, they need to go to God's Word and go to the church where people are taught about living a saved, victorious life. You can't look to the plays and the people. No offense, but many of these playwrights are not saved in Christ. Many of the people who portray these different individuals, they're not saved either. It's acting.
Okay.
It's a play. If I want to get source and strength, I will go to church. I will read God's Word. I will not look to a play. So a lot of the hype about, they're criticizing this and that.
Okay,
well, it's entertainment.
D, I got to run. I'm out of time, and that's the perfect place to end, because that's exactly what it is. It's entertainment. That's exactly what it is, and we're glad that Shelley Garrett came by to entertain us tonight. Salt, nice to see you as always. Play, nice to see you. Good luck on the play.